Yeah, I'm not just gonna say it now. Those who doubted Phil Spencer and his team at Xbox and Microsoft on a whole, they deserve an apology. We should apologize to Phil Spencer and his team. We should apologize to Microsoft and their team because their gamble has paid off. And this is just showing me that a lot of gamers out there, they are too emotional. They are too emotional. Talking about getting themselves wrapped up in a brand. A PlayStation brand, the Xbox brand. Person's going, they plan to burn the Xbox, burn the PlayStation when something doesn't go their way. Like these people, the CEOs understand what's happening. They have been in the trenches and they know what their numbers are saying. And so I'm not saying they always get it right because Dan Matrick, right? That Xbox One era, no, that wasn't it. That is why Phil Spencer, who is in the know, could identify that the Xbox One era was not the one to lose. And when they lost that era, they knew it was basically over for that particular model. We have the exclusives, the system, and that kind of thing. They knew it was over. Because they understood, as most of us when they explained understood, I hope, that if we're going to a digital future, a future where persons love their achievements, their trophies, all these other things that they have built up over the years, they have built their ecosystem, then it's very hard for them to just move on over wholesale. And this is evident in everything that we're seeing here. Because you're telling me that they just put out the numbers from Sakana, Matt Pisutella, showing the sales chart for PlayStation from June to July. And look at that. Xbox is dominating the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 60% of the top 10 games are something that Microsoft put out. 60% of the top 10 Microsoft owned property. Only 20%, that's MLB The Show and Death Stranding 2. 20% Sony as a publisher. So you realize that what Phil Spencer and them saw, they saw the writing on the wall, they understood that for the company to continue growing, for them to remain in the gaming space, they must make a change. And that change was to go full third party. Because I don't understand why people want to see Xbox dying. Could you imagine how boring the industry would be if there's only PlayStation and Nintendo only and PC? I don't understand how any real gamer can sit back and say they prefer an industry with one dominant, no competition, just one company doing it all. Don't understand that mindset because you do realize that these two companies, they're not the same. They have different views, different creative ideas, and so the approach gonna be so different to gaming. Look at Microsoft. Microsoft tend to favor variety. They tend to want to do the back in the day was the bro shooter box with Gears and Halo. So they tend to favor those kind of more hardcore kind of games. Even when the PlayStation 2 was a lot of JRPGs and that kind of stuff, the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, they're more hardcore. As a person's gravitated to that. They are different. Could you imagine the industry where Sony has never shown where they can make a competent first-person shooter or a nice multiplayer shooter? They have never shown that. They tried to do Killzone, didn't work out as well. They tried to do, what was it back in the day? The one with the SOCOM, you see where that gone, right? Siphon Filter, where is that? So you realize that as a shooter company, they're not really that good. So you need the different ideas, you need the different creative outlets out there so we can have a variety in the gaming space. Look at Forza Horizon 5. Forza, there are no parallels to Forza on PlayStation. That is why they're eating it up. That is why it's one of the number one selling games on the PlayStation Store. Number 2 in this case. People wanted that arcade racer with a nice, crisp visuals and everything like that. Ain't everybody want a sim, right? Gran Turismo, Forza Motorsport, ain't everybody want a sim. And ain't everybody want a cat racer like Mario Kart. So that's why they're going to eat up Forza because that's something that the PlayStation was devoid of. And so you could see the results right there. Again, the shooter, Doom, Dark Ages. Of course, well, I wouldn't even put it like that because it was never going to be exclusive, right? Had Microsoft bought it and said, okay, we have Bethesda now, you'll be exclusive. They didn't say that. So either way, it's still dominating here at number 6. So look at that. The shooters, Call of Duty, Microsoft. Doom Dark Ages, Microsoft. The nice arcade racer, Microsoft. The open world, the open-ended Western, I would say, RPG, Oblivion, the old school one, right here, Microsoft. And that's why I bought an OG Xbox in the first place when I was playing Morrowind, because I enjoy that kind of RPG. Some would have preferred the JRPG back then, but I wanted this kind of more realistic CRPG kind of thing. And so you could see what's happening here. So I'm just saying that they deserve an apology, because at the end of the day, it proved that the CEOs are more pragmatic and they understand the business cycle. They understand the business environment more than we out here in YouTube do, because a lot of persons had their emotional reactions to Microsoft going third party. Some were crying, some were laughing because, oh, Xbox is dead, because they love the PlayStation like that. And so we have to understand that we don't have any insight. There are some out there, like VG Fight School and Dark and them, who are more pragmatic. And we saw that this is a more pragmatic approach to the future of gaming. Nobody really wants to stick to the exclusive thing right now in gaming. Compete on services, compete on the different features of the box if you want to, but not on the software itself. There are other ways you can compete. The content wars now, as they call it now, is the content wars now, right? So, happy to see this. And one question I have though, would this be the same if it was reverse? Would it be that if Sony start publishing on Xbox, would the sales dominate like this? I'm wondering. That's a genuine question. I personally, I don't think so. Because when I had a choice between those two systems, I always buy the Microsoft system first and then the Sony one after. I bought my Xbox One first, then my PS4. I bought my Series S and X first, then my PlayStation 5. I bought it was the OG Xbox, never bought the PlayStation 2. But during the PlayStation 3 time, I bought the PlayStation 3 first because all of my friends were there. Then I bought the 360 after. But I sat down and saw that, okay, let's take Uncharted for example. Now, when you want to talk about milking a series, right? Man, Sony milked Uncharted. No lie. People talking about Halo and that kind of stuff, but Sony milked Uncharted. Because I realized that there was only Halo 5. Up to Halo, when Uncharted and God were already beyond that in their series, both the PS, the portables and the home system iterations of these games, right? So you realize that Sony loved to milk a franchise. And so when you're thinking about, should I buy a PS5? What am I going to play on it? Oh, the same, maybe Uncharted? Maybe the same old things that I play on PlayStation for God of War? The same old stuff? Because you know that what Sony going to stick to. And so when given that decision, a lot of persons, I feel, would want to go the Microsoft road in terms of the games that are being pushed. Not the hardware, not whatever, the games itself. Because this proves that Microsoft always had games, and they had good games. Because so many people are eating up these games. And it proved that Phil Spencer was correct in saying they lost the wrong generation. When persons already invested in their software libraries. Because remember, coming out of the PlayStation 3 and 360 generation, Xbox was going in strong into the next generation, going in strong, and then they fumbled the bag. And so Sony was able to capitalize on the PS4 era generation with the simplicity and everything, and that's why they're dominating up to today. Because you can't tell me I'm gonna buy the Xbox with Connect for so much money when it's lower spec and less games, right? So, all in all, wrap up this video. I just want to say that we out here, we don't know anything. As YouTubers, it's a vocal minority. I always like to have the emotional reaction, and the CEOs understand their lane, and you can see it paid off. Because imagine Microsoft dipping into that 77 million install base, and then they have the subscription service for their own fans with Xbox Game Pass. So they're dipping all over the place. They ain't losing nothing. They're satisfying their Xbox persons, and they're satisfying the PlayStation persons, satisfying the PC persons. So Microsoft is have their hands in everything. Everything. So, yeah. This is an eye-opener for sure.